evening, friends, foes, and feral toddlers. It's June 11th, 2025, and I'm coming to you live from the heart of a chicken coop disguised as a home, where I'm a homeschooling mom of 4, including twin 9-month-olds, who still think real food is a conspiracy, and over 50 baby keets who chirp like they're unionizing. So, while everyone else is debating global affairs with full REM sleep and hot coffee, I'm here with spit up on my shirt, one boob out, and a brain sharper than most government memos. Let's get into the madness. Tariff Tantrums, the sequel nobody ordered. Let's kick things off with a throwback no one asked for, the Orange Overlord, beloved Tariffs. A federal appeals court just ruled to keep those tariffs in place, while his orangeness appeals a lower court ruling that essentially said, hey, you might have made this up as you went. We're talking about billions in trade taxes on steel, aluminum, and probably your grandma's blender, all justified under national security because, yes, apparently microwaves from China are a top-tier threat to democracy. Critics say these tariffs have jacked up prices, disrupted supply chains, and done more damage than good. But the court said, let's hold off changing anything until the appeals are over. Translation, we're living in limbo while the economy plays dodgeball with logic. And surprise, surprise, the Orange Overlord wants the Supreme Court to back him up because nothing says checks and balances like demanding a rubber stamp from the nation's highest court. And from presidential power grabs to rebellious power plays, let's slide into Iowa, where Satan prayer and the Constitution just walked into the same courtroom. This one is juicy. Holy lawsuit, Satan! Iowa gets sued by the dark side. The Satanic Temple is suing Iowa for, you guessed it, religious discrimination. They tried 3 times to lead a legislative prayer at the Capitol and got shut down each time. Meanwhile, Christian prayers keep rolling through like it's Sunday service with a gavel. So now they're suing under the First Amendment, saying if the government invites religion to the table, it can't decide who gets dessert, and honestly, they have a point. This isn't about devil horns and goat sacrifices. The Satanic Temple is a legally recognized religion with a flair for calling out hypocrisy. Their entire existence is basically a mirror held up to Christian nationalism. So while Iowa officials scramble to explain why only some gods are welcome at the podium, the rest of us are just sitting here wondering if anyone in charge actually read the Constitution, or if they just used it as a coaster during Bible study. But wait, we're not done with power struggles just yet, because the Orange Overlord has entered the chat again. And this time, he's pointing fingers at Iran with a side of uranium panic. Let's break it down. Enriched and unhinged, the Orange Overlord's beef with Iran's nuclear talks. In his latest round of foreign policy theater, the Orange Overlord is accusing Iran of being much more aggressive in nuclear negotiations currently happening behind closed doors in Oman. He says he's surprised by Iran's hard stance, which is odd considering his own envoy reportedly offered a deal that would allow Iran to enrich uranium for civilian use. Now he's turned around like, psych, zero enrichment ever. Because why keep things consistent when you can just spin the diplomatic roulette wheel? Meanwhile, Iran's parliament is accusing the U.S. of setting a strategic trap, demanding total sanction relief and full enrichment rights. Basically, they're not here to play, especially not when they feel like the goalposts are on wheels. And let's not kid ourselves, this isn't some complex chess match. This is bumper cars in a war room, starring a president who thinks nuance is a type of pasta. Left-leaning sources say the Orange Overlord is derailing talks with his usual mix of ego and inconsistency. Right-leaning sources says Iran's acting tough, and only the Orange Overlord has the guts to shut it down. Neutral outlets say talks are rocky, the messaging's mixed, and diplomacy is skating on thin ice. Poof! Alright, let's rapid fire through the rest of the headlines before my twins decide my ring light is a chew toy. Here comes your quick hit. Stock futures dipped ahead of new inflation data, and economists are nervously pretending they understand any of it. Again, U.S. and China are flirting with a trade truce, promising to ease tariffs on rare earth metals. Great, now can we ease the price of toothpaste? Immigration raids in L.A. sparked protests and a curfew, because civil unrest is the new Tuesday. Tesla announced robo-taxis launching in Austin on June 22nd, because what we really needed was silent cars ghosting us in traffic. Musk versus the Orange Overlord escalates as budget brawls threaten electric vehicle subsidies and my will to live. Okay, that was a lot, and I don't know about you, but I need to emotionally exfoliate after all that nonsense. So let's land this bird with something that actually lifts your spirit. First up, Noor Jahan, a rescued elephant once abused in a Pakistani zoo, is now living her best pain-free life in a Kenya sanctuary. She took her first easy steps this week, and honestly, she walks better than half our leadership. A bunch of fifth graders in Michigan saved their school's bee garden from being mowed down. They organized, protested, and won. Kids these days, legends. And in Ohio, an 89-year-old woman just graduated high school next to her great-grandson. She dropped out in the 1950s. Now she's got her diploma and the most iconic senior photo of the year. And that's your SassCast for June 11th, folks. I've got babies who still think avocado is offensive, keets trying to unionize on my porch, and somehow I still showed up more prepared than half of Congress. Remember this: you can be exhausted and extraordinary, tender and terrifying, soft in the soul and sharp in the mind. Keep showing up, keep standing tall, and if the world gets too loud, just hand it a baby and walk away. It won't know what to do. See you tomorrow!